that's true. Naked Palpatine.
Oh, you pick that one. Fresh out of the clone tank, nude Palpatine is my
Well, that's the first thing I think of when you say Dark Empire Palpatine. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Oh, feels so good to say that. Now dubbed by Disney, or can Lucasfilm, whichever way you slice it. Legends. Today, I have for you, since it's basically chapter 1 of a comic book, because it's not a novel, issues 1 to 7 of the Legacy Comics by John Ostrander, and the art, of course, by the ever-fantastic Jan Durisma, who, I may be butchering that name, but makes some of the most fantastic art ever, consistently, without fail. And it's not always her. Or is that a him? Oops. I don't know. Sounds like a girl name. That's not to be rude. I just don't know. I'm lazy. This is actually a big revelation for all of you. I have heard this name many times in videos, when I'm reading. Never bothered to look it up. But I'm pretty sure I'm correct. Anyway, we're here. Legacy. I mean, it's amazing. It's still not my favorite. I think I still have to give it to KOTOR. But this may be a close second, you know, and then probably the Republic comics. But Cade Skywalker is such a phenomenal character. He's a little bit on the edgy side. Even though this was not the 90s, it does feel a little 90s edge at times. But it's done so well and so earnestly that I'm so for it. And some people aren't really for the more darker tone, or not darker tone I should say, I mean it's more of... Cade isn't very likable. But yet there's nuance, I feel like, in every panel as I'm trying to re-go through this, you know. It's not just that he's a dick and then he's nice. He's dealt with a lot of... he hasn't dealt with it at all, let's be honest. There's a lot of trauma that he's not processing well. And he, unlike a lot of other Skywalkers, right now just can't handle it. He's not rising to the occasion. But, you know, I think that's part of what makes him endearing and so human, is that he struggles so much. He's a drug addict. He's not even a smuggler like Han. He's a bounty hunter like Boba Fett. But he also has the Force. He also struggles with the dark side. And yet, as we'll see, while he struggles, it never really overtakes him. Almost ever. There is sometimes, but he's just such a fascinating character. To have a character like this with the last name Skywalker, you know, like that's such... you don't expect that. And I think it does wonders. And then, I mean, the supporting cast, you know, what is his name? Freaking Jiraiya Sin. He's fantastic. Don't even get me started on Delilah Blue. Not only is she just a really good character in general, she's Delilah Blue. Enough said about that. Rowan Fell, the Fell Knights, the Imperial Knights, you know, from Draco or Drago or fudge his name is, down to frickin' Darth Great showing up, you know, and the armor looking awesome. And of course we know about him already, first expanding versus fans, but like still just see him for the, like imagine it's your first time, and then the one Sith taking over and everything, like it's all done masterfully. This is all about spoilers, of course, super in-depth. The beginning section on Ossus with Cole Skywalker. And the battle, like, it's just so good, you know, and there's a lot we'll dive into as we get further into the series, only 7 issues in, but it's just such good storytelling. It is really, you know, I was talking on Instagrams about this, and here you have a Skywalker that gave up. Now, I don't try to be too negative, but if you're gonna do a story, you know, that's a bit different from Star Wars, that kind of subverts expectations, right? This is how you do it. It subverted my expectations by making a Skywalker that's not like the other ones. But the difference between this and Last Jedi used an established character who already has a personality, beliefs, structure, and inverted that to fit the narrative, which I think is flawed. If you're gonna make, because like the idea of like using a character that becomes disillusioned, that can work. You just need the right character. So I feel like Cade fits that way better than Luke Skywalker. You know, Luke Skywalker even shows up in here to further show the dichotomy between the two as a Force ghost. Now that, you know, I want to be consistent because I did complain about the amount of Force ghosts in some fan fictions I was reading, but here's the thing. Luke Skywalker is the son of the Chosen One. Sure. The most powerful Jedi. Even of this era. Even after his death. I can buy that he can last as a Force ghost a little bit longer than everyone else. I can buy it. So it doesn't bother me too much. But I get why it would bother some. Darth Talon, I think, is, depart from the fact, like, people always go, oh my god, she's so hot. I don't even care about that. I just think she's really interesting as an antagonist alongside Darth Nihil, who's really cool, which is a Nagai, by the way. Just that's just such a cool thing, you know, because it's not like talking about the Marvel comics, but just by putting them in there, you are validating those comics. There's some sort of weird revisionist history that's gone on in the past few years about, well, you know, the Marvel comics never mattered. They're silly. Who said? Who said they don't count? Because legacies are treated like it counted. Otherwise, why include the Nagai? Why include a Zeltron as the main character? You see what I mean? Like, it's not only just continuity, it is retroactively making those comics matter far more. And that is amazing in of itself. That's the EU, baby. That's what it does, is that. But there's going to be a lot to talk about. This is more of the introductory story. I'm going to get into some specific spoilers of each issue or some issues. But by and large, it is fantastic. If you're not much of a book reader, then if you don't read books, but you want to have some part of the expanded universe, get why we like it so much. Well, first off, KOTOR. You need to read KOTOR. But outside of that, this, you don't really need to have any prior knowledge of anything. If you read the Republic comics, you're gonna get a little bit more out of this. But like, for example, the first time I read this, I went from Truce at Bakura all the way to this. I never read the Republic comics until I did my reread. Well, it wasn't a reread for all the prequel stuff, but it was a reread once I got to post episode 6. But regardless, I didn't know the whole history of Dark Rape. It showed me some of that in this comic, so I kind of got the gist. But I think it works retroactively regardless. If you read this first, you're gonna appreciate the Republic comics more. If you read the Republic comics first, you'll appreciate this more. But either way is fine. But if you want something that doesn't really require too much knowledge of past things, this is a good place to start. Anyway, I'm getting spoilers. If you don't want that, get out. So, that opening battle, Cole dying, Cade bringing somebody back to life, bringing Wolf back to life, using the dark side. Incredible. We then jump to 7 years later. We get introduced to Delilah Blue and Jariah. We learn that Cade and his friends are bounty hunters. We get introduced to Darth Talon as well. We meet Marashi Fell, the daughter of Rowan Fell. She's a pretty cool character. We learn about Cade's addiction. And, you know, his friends aren't very happy about that, but they deal with it. Rowan's Riz. He makes it to Bastion, and everyone just starts kneeling. It's that Rowan Riz. It's that Fell genes, you know. That was a pretty cool scene. The Luke and Cade scene, where Luke comes as a Force ghost while Cade's trying to get high and starts talking to him. One of the peakest scenes of the entire show, entire panel, comic, whatever you want to say. And then even later on, we get Marashi Fell shows up. They're, you know, like, we need safe haven. So Cade puts them on. You're like, right, heroic arc, here it starts. Then he goes, we can bring her to Rowan, give money, and then take them both to the Empire. Like, it's just so good. I'll get into the rest in just a moment.